Ah, the moon looks so nice. Look how friendly she looks. Okay, a little weird, but surely that's just nothing, right? Okay, I was wrong. This is the moon, and her story is filled with mystique and lore. The moon is a vampire, like Marceline, and is a part of the Vampire King's court. You know, that one guy. Yeah, that guy.
It's chill.
The moon's story is filled with things that are so weird and so hard to understand, but that's why in this video, I'm gonna tell her story, then reveal all the lore and mysteries surrounding the moon, while trying my very best to explain each and every little detail about her character. But first, if you're new here, or just like Adventure Time, please subscribe. It means so much to me, but without further ado, let's get into the video. The moon's introduction to the series is short but sweet. We see her, along with the entire Vampire King's court, form from the vampire extract that PB did to Marceline. She's even playing the flute here. How sweet. However, things would only get more strange and weird from here on out.
That's her voice!
After the Vampire King's court realize they are back after getting KO'd by Marceline, they each go their separate ways. Instead of making a scene about it, the moon silently retreats towards the lake, dropping moon pearls as she leaves. Surely this is an aside of all the weird things that come with the moon, right? Right? After Marceline learns that all the vampires are back out in the land of Oo again,
this is really bad.
She makes it her mission to stop them all, just like she did all those years ago. However, while fighting the Hierophant, she gets slashed by him, and therefore poisoned by him. She falls ill, almost lifeless, but PB remembers that the moon has self-healing abilities, so she sends Finn and Jake to look for her. When she says,
"You guys stake her back to the poison lab,"
it sounds like you guys stake her back. Surely this won't come up later in the episode, right? But PB, Marceline, and Pepbutt go to Pepbutt's poison lab back at the Candy Kingdom. This is where things start to get really weird. Cut to the forest. Finn finds a moon pearl. Jake says it's gross, but Finn thinks they're pretty.
Gross. I think they're pretty.
They follow the trail of moon pearls. It leads to the moon's hiding spot. In a boat, they find the moon sleeping in a vase. Jake, very scared, tries to stake the moon. They wait while Jake thinks about the moon exploding or something, as it should for staking a vampire. And then the stake sword comes right out of the moon's body.
She just healed that sword right out of her bod.
The two are very surprised the moon didn't explode into dust after staking her, but they wouldn't give up. The two try frying the vampire in the sun. It works, but the moon heals her face nearly as fast as it burns. While Jake thinks of a new way to kill her, Finn tries staking her a bunch of different ways, like what Bonnabelle said. Wait.
"You guys stake her back to the poison lab."
Also, keep in mind, the moon just stays sleeping the entire time this is going on. Not a care in the world. It's almost like she knows that they can't hurt her. Wait, hold on. But at this point, Finn and Jake have been staking the moon for hours. Yes, literally hours.
Man, we've been doing this for hours.
Finn says that it's weird that Bonnie wanted them to stake her back rather than taking her back. When the two finally think about it, they're still confused between you guys stake her back and you guys take her back. Finn just suggests that they do both. Jake says that they should put her back in the vase as the sun goes down. When the thing on her forehead wiggles, Jake panics and puts the moon back in her vase to sleep, but she wakes up and hisses at them. Finn, being the daring hero that he is, dares her to chase them.
Come get his blood bucket! What? Run!
So she does. Finn rides on Jake's back, and the moon chases them. Now, this is where things start to get even more weird. The moon keeps chasing Finn and Jake. When Jake asks why Finn made her chase them, Finn says that Marcy needs her healing, which she does. She is slowly dying by the second. Finn sees the moon running with many feet and very fast, but he mentions that she's smiling right at him.
She's smiling right at me. I don't need a play-by-play, man. She's messing with us.
Finn realizes that the moon is messing with them. She's not catching up to them on purpose, even though she very well could. Finn asks Jake to stop so we can talk to her. Jake, however, is way too scared to slow down, as you should, but a good slap in the rear makes Jake slow down. Finn starts saying some tough words to the moon. Then she starts to speak in a deep voice.
"You run in the path of my light. How can you lead me when I am your guide?"
Finn notices that she's talking about the real moon in the sky. Then the moon starts laughing with a horrific expression, which causes Finn to get scared and Jake to run faster.
Me no like! Run, Jake, run!
But back at the Candy Kingdom, Marceline has to wait 2 whole hours before Pepbutt's antidote kicks in. While talking about ways to pass the time, Jake busts through the wall, with Finn and the moon close behind. Bonnie hides with Marcy in a hatch and locks it, telling Finn and Jake to hold her off until Marcy wakes up. They realize that the moon isn't trying to attack them, just standing there. So Finn uses this prime opportunity to attack. However, when Finn tries to stab her, he suddenly collapses. The moon hisses at Jake and he also collapses. Finn tries to stop her by grabbing her ankle, but just gets pulled along. Finn even asks the banana guards to help, but she melts the chocolate covering their tops. The moon is after Marceline and tries to open the hatch that PB and Marceline are in. However, it's locked. The moon tries tries to pick the lock by just screaming "pig," while Finn goes back for his sword. Bonnie slaps Marcy lightly and tells her to please wake up. Marceline wakes up to the moon, picking the lock and opening the hatch. Yes, just by screaming "pig."
Did you just yell pigs at the lock until it opened?
Out of nowhere, Peppa shoves a giant stake in the moon from behind and shoves it forward. Marcy sucks the moon inside her and heals quickly, falling asleep peacefully in Bonnie's arms. Let's start with the biggest question. What is the moon? Now, if you remember back to the start of the video, I said that she was a vampire, which is true, but there are definitely a lot more deeper and more hidden meanings behind what the moon actually is. The moon from Adventure Time is not just a vampire, but a symbol of mystery, delusion, and confusion. Her very existence ties into the moon tarot card, which represents fear, anxiety, subconscious, and bewilderment, feelings and conditions she inflicts upon people around her. Now, if you're familiar with the Adventure Time series, you would know that tarot cards have been brought up before. Jake's daughter, Charlie, is a skilled tarot card reader and has an understanding of how to read the future and see a person's essential nature through mystic rituals. But back to the moon. The moon's mysterious powers include accelerated self-healing, which makes her almost invincible, and creating glowing pearls, which seem to serve as a deliberate trail for others to follow. This connection to pearls further ties her to the moon's traditional symbolism, as pearls have long been associated with lunar beauty and mystery. Her peculiar dialogue and actions cause fear and disorientation in those who interact with her. Even when she's asleep, her presence seems to discombobulate those in her vicinity, leading to miscommunications and misunderstandings. Like, Finn and Jake literally tried staking her for hours, making zero progress every time. This could be seen as a passive defense mechanism on her part, making it even harder for anyone trying to harm or kill her, as seen by Finn and Jake. Moreover, the moon's character is filled with dualities. This is reflected in the classic moon tarot card's depiction of a dog and a wolf, symbolizing the civilized and the wild. The moon embodies this duality with her seemingly tame persona that can quickly shift into a feral state. For example, remember the very intro to this video? She starts off seeming like a nice and calm character, seen by just playing her flute along with her vampire pals. Even as she sleeps in the vase, she seems pretty calm and doesn't appear that threatening. Heck, even when she first starts chasing Finn and Jake, she's just running with a grin on her face, purposely not catching up to them. But remember, that was at first. All these moments show off her calm and tame persona, but can still quickly transition to a feral and scary state, as we can see when she talks to Finn and when she tries to kill Marceline. The moon represents the mysterious depths of the subconscious and hidden realities that are yet to be understood, which is best shown by the fever dreams Marceline has throughout the episode, where the moon takes the main stage. What do these dreams really mean? And do they reveal anything about the moon or even Marceline? Marceline's fever dreams are very telling of her subconscious fears, desires, and her relationship with others around her. Let me explain. In the first dream, Marceline is knocking on the door of a home where Simon and Betty are making a pie. She arrives, looking fancy and holding flowers. This dream seems to illustrate Marceline's longing for normalcy, familiar warmth, and love, a stark contrast to her vampire hunter life. We even see in flashbacks the human's initial resentment against Marceline. And I mean, even Simon. All these relationships Marceline makes eventually just crumbles away from her. Her affection for Simon is well known, as she regards him as a father figure from her early post-apocalyptic days. The fact that she brings flowers might signify a desire for reconciliation or to express unspoken feelings. In the second dream, the scenery changes drastically. Marceline is older, singing a sad song. Peppa is digging a grave, and Bonnie, Princess Bubblegum, is taller. This could represent Marceline's fear of death, aging, and isolation, which are common themes throughout Adventure Time. The fact that Marceline appears a lot older but PB doesn't might represent the fear that Marceline has about not being a vampire anymore. After all, her being a vampire is the only reason she is able to live for so long, and without that, she has to grow old while watching those around her not age at all. Bonnie. Marceline's inability to hear might symbolize a communication barrier between her and Bonnie, but as the dream progresses, it starts raining inside the cabin, and a hand pops out of Bonnie's mouth. This could signify a fear of being swallowed by her problems, or perhaps internalized fears about Bonnie not being able to help her with the challenges she's facing. Then, the cabin shakes, and orange ooze starts dripping down the walls, revealing the full moon, likely symbolizing the moon's influence and Marceline's fear regarding her. The presence of the moon in Marceline's dream signals its intrusive and powerful influence over Marceline. This could be symbolic of Marceline's own subconscious fears and anxieties, as possibly unaddressed trauma regarding her past encounters with the vampires. The moon's voice is heard as Marceline wakes up to the moon opening the hatch. This could reflect the blurring of lines between her subconscious fears and the reality of her current predicament, emphasizing the urgent threat that the moon presents. Marceline's dreams hint at her internal struggles, deep-seated fears, and unexpressed desires. They demonstrate the impact of the moon on her psyche, underlying the mysterious, unnerving power that the moon possesses. This ties in with the overall theme of the moon as a symbol of subconscious fears and unknown realities, as her presence in Marceline's dreams triggers the surfacing of these hidden emotions and fears. It's a complex, nuanced relationship that showcases the depth of Marceline's character and the fascinating symbolism imbued in the moon's character. Finally, let's answer one more question, and perhaps the most mysterious one, and the one that you might not have even known about. Remember back to the very first time we see the moon? It's when the Vampire King's court has a big dispute and each member goes off on their own way. The Hierophant shapeshifts into a warthog and leaves towards another forest, which ends up being where the Hierophant bites the dust, literally. The Empress says that she will build her own army and leaves towards the Ice Kingdom, which ends up being the place where she bites the dust. However, the moon silently retreats towards a lake, dropping moon pearls as she leaves. And if you remember, Finn and Jake find her at this lake, but she isn't killed there, unlike the other two vampires. It's not until she arrives at the Candy Kingdom, trying to get Marceline, where she finally bites the dust. Why wasn't the moon killed at the place she retreated to, like every other vampire did? Well, the answer is that her motivations are less rooted in the quest for power or control, and more aligned with observation and existence, as evidenced by her primary ability being healing. This passive orientation might be why she didn't face the same fate as the other vampires at the place she retreated to. Furthermore, her enigmatic utterance could offer additional insight. This statement might imply a subtle guiding role, suggesting her influence on the paths of other characters like Finn and Jake. Traditionally, the moon is seen as a source of guidance and light amidst darkness, perhaps aligning with her role in the narrative. Thus, she might not directly confront her destiny, but instead indirectly steer others towards the outcomes she anticipates, which could explain why she wasn't eliminated at her retreat like the others. There's also the possibility that the moon intentionally allowed Marceline to defeat her. Her final dialogue with Finn might reflect an acceptance of an inevitable end. As an entity embodying mystery and the subconscious, she might have had a profound subconscious awareness of her impending demise. Given her shared vampiric origins with Marceline, she might have felt a sense of connection that led her to accept her end in a different location and at Marceline's hands. As for why she would allow Marceline to absorb her, several theories can be suggested while still aligning with the question of her differing fate. The moon might have sensed her impending end and chose to face it on her own terms, diverging from the other vampires. Her shared history and vampiric nature with Marceline might have fostered a deeper empathy, prompting her to decide her own end. She might also have felt alienated in the world of Ooh, and believed that her powers could be better harnessed by Marceline, thereby choosing a different ending for herself. But like everything related to the moon in Adventure Time, these are only interpretations. The beauty of this character is her cryptic nature and how she fuels a continuous sense of intrigue and wonder in viewers' minds. As much as we can try to dissect and understand her, there will always be an element of her character just shrouded in mystery, just like the real moon that shines in our sky. And that's the mysterious story behind the moon from Adventure Time. But just like the moon, there's another character with a captivating and enigmatic aura, someone who has equally baffled fans and stirred endless debates, and that's none other than Patient Saint Pym. Ready to venture further into the intriguing mysteries of Adventure Time? Let's uncover together the enigma that is Patient Saint Pym. We'll unravel her origins, discover her deepest secrets, and decipher the lore that surrounds her. I guarantee that by the end, your perspective on Adventure Time will be utterly transformed. So why wait? Click on this video to start this fascinating journey right now. But as always, my friends, stay adventurous.